So let's get started. As you can see, here is my Phoenix squad. This is again around day 10 on this account, so we've made very good progress. I have not restarted account since the game began. So for me, this is super interesting to see how fast you can level up. So 10 days, I saved this for you guys. We're going to promote Ezra here. This is going to be the first 7-star character for my Phoenix squad. See, he is now done. So that's pretty impressive. 10 days to get Ezra, and you can see I'm going to start on Hera now. Zeb is coming along. I made a comment in the last video. You're farming Zeb out of the Galactic War, so you grab currency for completing these nodes, and I made the comment, hey, they made this easier from when I first played the game. Turned out, well, that was a lie. That is not what happens. This game mode is still very, very, I guess, hard. As you can see, my squad is average level 50. I am on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 node, which is traditionally a very difficult node in general. And you can see I'm already facing level 58 characters. So this mode is not as easy as I thought it was. So if you're not able to complete this every day, don't worry about it. Get what you can currency-wise. The farm is still super fast. As you can see, Zeb is already at 30 of 100. So you'll typically get at least 400. Sometimes you can squeeze the 800. Once in a blue moon, you may be able to complete the whole thing. That will get easier as you get to 7-star characters and some of the other squads in the game. Don't worry about it right now. Just farm the best you can and keep going. Chopper has also been going fairly well. Just spending energy on these two and getting the shards here has been helpful. And you can see he's actually a little bit ahead of Zeb, so I expect these guys will probably wrap up at the same time. Kanan is actually taking a little longer than the other characters. He's the character based on your arena rank, and I've had a really hard time staying below 1,000, which is what I've sort of been shooting for. This is my second account, so I don't have as much time as I'd like to spend just farming things on this, and you can see by my energy on the previous screen, there's a lot to be done there. But I do what I can throughout the day to try to keep up with it. Ideally, I'd like to be here and get this 400 a day because that guarantees me at least 10 shards of him, but it's difficult, right? Like I said, I was above 1,000 at some point, but the matches I'm running into, they're just hard. I mean, some of the crew matchup is really, really rough. This Mando matchup, which looks like somebody maybe bought some packs or something when they first started, it's just kind of hit or miss. This is probably something doable here. The mirror matches with Phoenix are awful, so I tend to try to avoid those. But yeah, so do what you can, get as high as you can. Either way, between getting your 200 a day plus completing it, it does add up. I'd like to get to 400 because that means every other day I'm getting an extra 10 shards. But again, not the end of the world. Still way, way faster from when the game started than it is today. So speaking of energy, you can see I am full up because I have not had much time to do that. So one of the things I've been focusing on is just gearing these guys up. The Phoenix squad up, and what that means is just searching for these things for gear. You can click on them and they'll actually tell you where you can find them. You can actually click through here. So you can see I need 20 of these shards, which is quite a few, and I've not actually unlocked these yet. So for him, he's about as high as I can go. As it stood, I was trying to get the gear 6 to unlock Emperor Palpatine. We'll talk about him in a little bit and why that's important. Well, not why it's important. It's cool to get a legendary character, but why you need to get them to level 6. So that seems to be the baseline to pull that off. So for all my characters, I've really been doing that. So my first farm for energy is really to come in here and farm these nodes as best I can. You'll see some will be capped until level 52. I can't apply this. I try to balance out opening up new nodes, unlocking new gear, and then leveling up my characters with that energy as I go along. Sometimes I get bored with this. This is a game that's supposed to be fun, especially when you get to some of these parts where you have to do 20 or so pieces. These become easier and easier to get as you level up, but it's not fun right now. Everything has to be, you don't get to use sim tickets when you're in game. After a while, you won't have a problem getting sim tickets. It just becomes an energy management thing. So early on, that becomes a lot more tedious. So all that said, that's one thing you should be doing in terms of spending your energy and where you can improve your characters. The second thing with the Phoenix squad is to start leveling up your various abilities, and one thing I wanted to talk about is Hera and her leader ability. So if you read her leader ability, it says each active Phoenix ally grants each or their unique ability to the other ally. So that's important, right? So one of the things you'll want to do is make sure as you're leveling up your guys to make sure and level up these uniques, because if you're short on materials for these, I would lean toward uniques first because these will benefit your squad as a whole. So so Ezra gets plus 1% offense. That means everybody in this, everybody in your team gets it plus max stacks. You can see here with Zeb, he gives you extra protection and extra recovery. And again. So all these benefit your squad as a whole. So it's kind of nice because when you level up that particular skill, you're actually getting it for all of your characters, not just one. So that's super powerful. So in general, though, I've been leveling these up. I haven't been too careful. Again, these mats become easier to get as you level up. They're not, there are blocks right now, but for your Phoenix squad in general, you'll want to level these up. And I think the target we're shooting for gear level wise is 8 or 9. That's what we'll need, I think, to get through Thrawn. I'm going to make a video. That will be the last video in this series, is getting Thrawn and prepping these teams to do that. So those are 2 things you can be looking at for your Phoenix squad as you're leveling up. And those are the skills you'll want to focus on. Otherwise, just pick ones that seem to have the best benefits. Anything damage or anything like that, it doesn't, again, really matter too much. Feel free to spend your materials on that. Save up for those. Right. The next thing we should talk about a bit is, as far as energy, is you can start farming some other characters. So I've actually started farming Count Dooku. He is a separatist, so there is a set of teams that people do start with. It's the separatist faction. It's not as popular, and honestly, I think initially they're stronger in the arena, but the ones I've met with recently in terms of, being on even footing, I'm starting to overtake them, so I don't know if that's even a good argument anymore. But that said, he is a good character. The Separatists in general will unlock Padme for you down the road. So eventually, if you want Padme, you're going to have to start farming these. So when I'm tired of farming, for various gear pieces, I will actually come in here and I will use 10 battles, basically, of energy for good old Count Dooku. He's somebody you can farm upon the side. Another example is the Stormtrooper. He is an Empire character. He will go well with Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. And so this is some yellow energy you can farm. Don't use your Cantina store battle stuff with this. This is for Chopper right now, I think. Yeah, Chopper. But when you're done with Chopper, who will be done fairly quickly, you can switch to him if you choose to. Stormtrooper is not really an in-game character, but for the mid-game or the early mid-game, when you're really trying to build up a few teams for some of the new modes that will be coming out, some of the more battle-focused things, it's nice to start rounding out a few rosters, start looking for characters you can farm. So you can do that with any character. If you're in the First Order and you see a couple First Order characters, CG does a good job of saying if you have a group of a certain faction, whether it's First Order or Empire or Phoenix or Ewoks, generally they're going to have good synergy together. If you can put together 5 of those on a team, again, it won't be the most optimal in all cases, but over time, once you get to the end game and you start unlocking all the other characters, they will be beneficial for you in the long run. So those are something else energy-wise you can do. Pick out some favorite factions and start doing those. So as you can see, I've started putting together just in your squad management thing. When you're looking at your characters, you can start building squads. So here's my Phoenix squad. You can see another squad I've started working on is my Empire. These are all Empire characters. And this is a good starter team. Emperor Palpatine we'll talk about in a few minutes, but you'll unlock, how do I forget his name? Yeah, Tarkin and Vader just through playing the game. Vader comes through your daily stuff. As you complete things, you'll get a few not daily, but for doing various feats in the game or challenges, you'll get shards of Vader. Right around 48, 49, you'll have enough of those to unlock him, and he's just basically a free character, which is super nice. Still a very viable in-game character, actually very relevant in the most, the most current raid, the Challenge Ranker. He is one of the key components to some of the teams in there, so still very valuable today. Emperor Palpatine, again, a very good in-game character. Tarkin is a ship captain, so again, he'll have viability for you in-game. These 2 characters aren't the greatest. Grand Admiral Thrawn will replace one of these once you get done. Some people put Royal Guard here. Royal Guard is very unviable in-game. Stormtrooper is to an extent, but again, it's about building teams over time. This is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. You're gonna spend a lot of time kind of building up your teams and going forward and adding to them as you go. You can see here, this is my Separatist team. One of the characters I've been farming is Magna Guard. He shows up in one of the stores. Not there right now, but he shows up in the guild currency store. So again, I mentioned last video, you'll want to find yourself a good guild. You'll start collecting this guild currency, which you can buy characters. Again, and you can kind of pick the faction you want to farm up from here and then start building your teams. So I could farm up Colonel Stark. He's a fairly new character. Again, he is Empire. So he may be somebody you'd want to look into getting if you wanted to start looking at Jedi characters. Obi-Wan Kenobi is there. You want to start going Resistance with Rey and Finn. There's Finn. So again, this is a very valuable store where you can pull content from or other characters from as you start migrating through the game. So this is the Separatist group here. I'll unlock another Geonosis here. Geonosis? Geonosis. Although some more bugs, right? So I'll get Poggle unlocked here, and I'll start looking around. Maybe Ventress will be the other one, and that will round out this. Again, about building squads, slowly and surely adding new things to it. This is kind of a mishmash squad. As you can see, I haven't even leveled up these two characters, but these are sort of in the rebel, I guess, faction, if you will. I think these are all rebels. Could be wrong. Actually, he's a resistance, so he doesn't even really fit in there. So you could, plop this guy out and put in, I don't know, the healer guy. Well, I actually got the consoler in here. So I might not actually have another rebel. So anyways, again, start picking out your teams, though. Pick some of the more prevalent ones, like the Resistance or First Order or Empire, and you'll have a fun time kind of building up these characters. So that's where you want to kind of spend some other energy. You can farm up shards and use that energy for those characters. All right. So the next thing we should talk about today is Palpatine. So as you can see, I unlocked him at, I believe it was level 48, and he unlocks at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. So this character, as I mentioned, is a very in-game character, still very viable today. He is really the engine of the Empire team in a lot of cases. So as you can see, I still have a lot of things to unlock for him, but I'm focused on Phoenix. Keep that in mind. You do want to focus on your Phoenix team. The whole goal of this is to unlock this guy, Palpatine, and to unlock Thrawn. Thrawn's gonna definitely be your priority, so be careful. Hold back, some of your various ability upgrades, things like that. Make sure you have a little bit of a stockpile, and that will ensure that once we get to all of our characters 7 stars, we'll be able to Thrawn. All right, so Palpatine, and something I haven't talked about before, is how do you find some of these special characters? So this is a recent addition to the game. If you click on objectives and you go to the journey guide, it will actually show you all the different characters that are in the game who go through some sort of process or some sort of event or some sort of way of getting them that's not just farming up shards, right? And so one of the ones we're talking about is Grand Admiral Thrawn, blue guy. There he is. And it'll give you a summary of sort of his abilities and what synergies he has. So as you can see, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader are 2 of his synergies. This Shore Trooper is a very good tank. This would be a great replacement for the Stormtrooper. And the Death Trooper and the Snow Trooper are, again, both viable. Again, these all fall into the Troopers, actually, Imperial Troopers category. Again, you can build a team around these guys who's also very valuable. Not as strong as it used to be, but it's a fun team to play with, and it does counter some of the other teams in the, let's say, the meta, but in the game itself. Click on activity, it will actually tell you what you need. So you can see it's recommending me a 7-star. It's actually recommending gear tier 9, so that's something I want to play with as I level up my account. I want to see what we need to do in terms of which characters really need to be gear 9 and which ones need to be gear 8 or 7, or what can you get by with. It's a pretty tough event, so obviously you'll want to make sure and try to get close to those specs. But again, we'll dig into that in a future video. But once you're ready, you'll actually be able to click Go to Event. And in the case of this event, you can actually complete some of the tiers of it early. So you can see I've already completed 1, 2, 3. And you can see I'm ready for tier 4, which I have not attempted yet. And you click here, you'll actually see the potential rewards. So in the case of Thrawn, you do need to complete all of the different levels to unlock him, I believe. So you won't get him early, but it's here if you want to start working your way through. There's some decent rewards in terms of crystals and level up materials, things like that. So go ahead and work through those as you can. We'll save that last event for the last video, like I said. In terms of Emperor Palpatine, where is he at? He should be right here. So the same deal. He will tell you who he synergizes with. So again, there's Vader, some other characters. This is the Sith Triumvirate. These are great characters, still very viable endgame. But these actually come, I think she comes through a raid, if I remember right, and these 2 are farmable later on in the game. So these won't be accessible to you early on, but Thrawn and Vader will. And here they'll tell you again what you need. So you need 7 stars and all that good stuff. And the good thing about Palpatine, though, is you can unlock him early. So if I go to the event, when I get here, this is going to be enough shards for me to unlock him at 5 stars. So I was able to do this again at gear. What I think I was gear 6 for all the characters. AhnaldT, who's one of the streamers for this game, and I'll put a link to the video down below, walked through this particular event. It's pretty rangy, meaning it's pretty luck based. You have to kind of get lucky. You can actually replay these, which is pretty cool. I don't want to go through this whole event, but it will kind of walk you through just kind of a high level what it looks like. So you'll go in, there's a cutscene. There's generally text, kind of, he's going to taunt you. So this is kind of a bad start. You can see he stunned 3 of my guys right off the bat. You can kind of, again, watch the video I put in the link below, and they'll walk you through this. This is not going to be a good run. But the basic idea is to use Hera's basics to expose him, use the different calls to bring him forward. So I will jump out of this, but I will link the video down below that kind of walks you through it. I took about 4 or 5 times. He ended up hitting my team once with a blast of lightning, and nobody got stunned, and they all countered him. He was knocked down pretty far. So again, it's again just a luck-based thing. If you stick at it, I think, like I said, if you're at level 48 and everybody's at that gear level 6, you should be fine, and they'll unlock him. So that would be your first legendary character, and again, that will go nicely with Vader, who you should get around then, Tarkin, and then you can level up these guys. Some good side characters for that. All right. The final thing I want to talk about today are mods. You'll unlock those at level 50. Again, there are tons of videos on mods. I really don't want to get into this. I think the thing I could say that, if I had to say any advice on this, is just to try to get mods in all the slots. You can click on this advanced/basic thing here, and it will actually tell you, and sometimes these recommendations are good, sometimes they're not. It just depends. For the case of these characters, these were fine to get started. We can tweak these more. There's tons of videos on modding and getting ready for different events. So you can come in here and then click on things, and you'll see, like in this case, he couldn't find a good mod that matched. So you can actually click back on advanced, and this will actually show you various. So you can kind of toggle between the two. So he wants offense and crit chance. I'll toggle back. So if I wanted, I'd look for maybe actually upgrade these. So there's no crit chance or offense on that one. There's a little offense on this one. So for now, all right, fine, I'll put that on. And as you group these characters, again, there's a whole video on this, but as you group groupings like this, you get various bonuses. This is a health bonus, which isn't really great for Ezra, but ideally you would kind of, again, look for things like offense and crit chance, which are going to be hard to farm early on. So again, the most important thing is to try to get mods in each slot. And these will improve your characters. You can see all the different stats that get added to them. At a lower level, these do make a big difference. So in Arena, you're going to face people who spent money. You can actually grab these out of the shipment store. Don't do this yet. Wait till you're at the end game. Wait till you're level 85, and you kind of know what you're looking for. But yeah, you can see, like, when you level up this mod, it's going to be super powerful, especially on a low tier character. I don't know if you can even equip this, actually, so it may be something you wouldn't even be able to use. So stay out of this part of it for now. Wait till you're at end game. For now, just farm your mod battles, and these are just, again, they'll show you how to do this once you unlock them, but you go through these nodes one at a time, and you unlock different types. So this is a defense mod, this is a health mod. These are all different types. Just kind of work your way through. You won't be able to get through them all. As you can see, I love this mode. I've spent enough energy to be in the positive, which is what it is. But anyway, so just try to get something on each character. They do add stats to them. Don't buy anything out of the store or shipments. Not going to be worth time or your energy. So there we go. Week or 10 days in, our third video. Again, just keep cranking along. Our goal is to get these guys all to 7 stars and to gear 8. And then we'll have in the final video which characters we think we need 9. We'll walk through the Grand Admiral Thrawn event, and then that'll be the end of the series. That will really be a time where, at that point, you'll have basically 2 good squads. You'll have sort of a nice base Empire squad. You'll have a nice 7-star Phoenix squad, and it's really up to you. You can choose then where you want to go farm your energy. You can choose which teams you want to do, and that's really up to you. You can either just pick and choose which characters you like, based on preferences or your favorites in the movies. If you're into bugs, these are all the bugs that go with Geonosians. If you're into the Mandalorian, here's all the Mandalorian characters. And again, you can just learn where to farm these. There are going to be sets of characters that are standard, and those are really, again, there's tons of videos out there about what are the meta teams. You can go on swgoh.gg as well. That's a website where they'll have tons of information about which teams are being used in the various modes. You can go search that. Again, I think early in the game, though, spend time, try to find maybe a couple relevant teams. If you decide you want to go after, if you're a Revan fan from the Knights of the Old Republic. There's a whole path to that that is outlined down here in your objectives. So you'll want to look at these two. This is where sort of some of the more stronger characters are located, and there how you will actually get to them. So there he is. There's Revan, and again they'll tell you the prerequisites. Can't even see it, so you had to be level 85. Here we go. So these are the characters you'll need. So again, the game's very good about walking you through what you need, using your path. This leads to a dark side Revan, which is again still very relevant. But these are going to be your kind of cool characters, your legendaries and characters some work. And these on the side are what we call legends. These are the hardest characters in the game. These you'll want to focus on down the road, or you'll have to be super focused on which characters to. Again, it gives you a nice list, but this is a long, arduous journey. It just takes you into basically in-game materials called relics. It's a long haul. So you may want to hold off on farming any of your Galactic Legends. You may want to take a peek though if you're a First Order fan and you think one day you want this. There are specific First Order or Resistance, etc. characters you'll need to farm for these. So you may want to align those with those types of characters if that's truly your aspiration at the end. So kind of a long video today. I kind of wanted to touch on a bunch of the different facets of the game. There's a lot happening as you start to unlock things. I think when we did the first video, we had 3 tabs in our store, and now we're up to 1, 2, 3. It looks like 7. And we still got more to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's plenty there. We'll talk about this store maybe in a future video, maybe next video. But basically, when you get extra shards of a character, you can buy stuff out. So anyways, that's the video for today. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and follow the channel. We're going to continue to do this series and some more series in the future on Galaxy of Heroes. I think I have another Galactic Legend chase coming up. I did a Galactic Legend chase video in the past, so you can check that out in the past videos. But until then, enjoy your farming. Keep working on that Phoenix team. I anticipate this will take probably another week or two. So maybe in our first month, we'll be taking a shot at Grand Admiral Thrawn, maybe sooner, depending on how fast we can get Mr. Jarrus here to get leveled up. I'm guessing it'll probably be another week. So again, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video, and have some fun. See you.